All right. So if she joins us, then she'll join us in, and then we'll just greet her and give like I'll give her like an introduction. All right.
Okay.
For people who normally see Suhei with me, my sidekick, my ace Boon Coon, she's not here today. She has something personal to take care of, but she'll be with us moving forward. So today's a special edition of the Discipline Therapy Podcast. We are going to talk about the most recent book, the seventh book. There's still unfinished business. All right. I mean, people may see this like the opposite of way. They might not see it the right way. You know what I mean? Just a couple of disclaimers. Spoiler alert. I just want to let everybody know out there. Do not watch this episode if you haven't read this book yet. There will be some spoilers in there. We don't want to spoil it for you guys. So I'll reiterate: make sure you read the book first. Prior to getting into this episode. So I also want to mention that these characters have no bearing on reality or current events, times, places. All these characters are fictitious. Even the Dominic character, I know in like previous interviews, I've stated he's mirrored as myself, but he's not completely mirrored as myself. So I just want to state that. Um, and So far, the special guest, Miss Andrea Johnson, CEO. Oh, here we go. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Oh, here we go. Hello. Can you hear me, Miss Mocha Marie?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay,
Hi.
good, good.
How are
All
you?
right, how you guys doing? Okay, so
Good.
I already stated a disclaimer. I mentioned that if anyone like as far as the audience, if they haven't read the book, go read the book because there will be some spoilers. As I mentioned to the audience and Andrea, I usually have a sidekick, so hey, she's taking care of some personal stuff, so she's not with us today. So I'm gonna be solo. Um, Also, like I wanted to emphasize that the characters are they have like no bearing on like reality and the current events. So I just want to introduce first Miss Andrea Johnson, CEO and founder of AJB Publishing. She's a marketing expert. She's also published 12 books on her way to publishing her 13th, correct?
Yes.
All right. And I also want to shout out Miss Mocha Marie, who is a model on the cover. She's right there.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Seventh book. She's a model. She's a actress. She's a radio personality. She's a trailblazer. You know what I mean? She has many different hats. Both of these women wear many different hats. What I mean, so yeah, I'm really pleased and happy that you guys are here today. So I before we start and we get into this episode, I want to talk about how has COVID been for you two? Starting with Andrea, like has it been your worst year or has it been the best year of your life? What have you learned from COVID?
Well, I wouldn't say it's been the worst year of my life, but it's definitely been very challenging. I think this whole situation with the quarantine, this was a true wake up call for everyone. But it's been very challenging. But like any obstacle that I've been through, I kind of just worked through it, taking one day at a time. And I strongly believe that this too shall pass.
Okay, yeah. So I think we kind of lost Mocha for a minute.
No,
Oh,
wait,
yeah,
I'm
you
here.
here?
I had to log off my phone and go
Oh,
into.
okay.
I was trying to do 8 things at one time.
Cool, cool. So, what has how has COVID treated you? Like, Has this year been the worst year of your life, or has it been the greatest year of your life? Has it been mediocre? Like, what have you
Um,
learned from COVID-19?
it's actually been bittersweet for me. I've had worse years in my life. Um, so with this COVID stuff going on, it just made me more aware of not taking things for granted, not taking life for granted, just to be able to breathe for granted and people for granted as well. But I actually kind of, for me personally, I don't know if I should use this word. Um, it was a capitalization for me. Some people capitalized off of COVID and
Mm-hmm.
it worked good for them. And I was one of those individuals. So I'm very blessed in that
Thank
way.
you. Thank
So
you.
yeah,
I feel the same way. I think like
yeah,
this has been the best year of my life. If
yeah.
if if COVID never happened,
Hmm.
I probably wouldn't be podcasting yet.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because
Oh,
I
I
had
get you. Yeah,
yeah, I had a desire to
yeah.
podcast. It was always in the plan, but not this sudden. You know what I mean? Like it was gonna come down in the future. But that's one of the
Right.
things that COVID did. I think for me, it slowed a lot of things down and allowed me to catch up, allowed me to learn a lot of different things. Also, what I learned from COVID is not really what I learned because I've always been doing this. I to be self sufficient because like
Mhm.
ever since like 2015, I built a home gym from scratch, so I didn't have to worry
Oh,
about the gyms being closed. Ever
yeah.
since 2017, I've been doing my own hair. I've been doing my own hair.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? Like it's just to me, I just got tired of just waiting at the barber shop. Like I would set up an appointment and then I'm still waiting. So that kind of like
Yeah,
annoyed me. So I've learned to be more self-sufficient, but it's like we really take for granted the little things.
right.
You know what I mean? Some of us, not all of us, but some of us take for granted the little things.
Mm,
And this year has kind of put everything into perspective. You know what I mean? That's what I
yeah.
feel. So we're gonna get into it. I'm your host, ladies and gentlemen, EL Discipline, the most unheralded, the disruptor of the status quo, breaking barriers and glass ceilings with an iron fist. This is your discipline therapy where everything is completely free. See, if you subscribe, it's free. There's no judgment. It's judgment free. It's sucker free. It's censor free. It's sensitive free, and plenty of liberty. God and the ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So, you at home, go grab your wine, but make sure the kids are in bed. You see, this is that soul food conversation. Prepare your mind to be fed. Light one up, inhale life, and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned in to a special edition of the Discipline Therapy Podcast. There's still unfinished business. We are all here.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. So we're gonna get into the book. We're gonna get into the book. I'm gonna ask you one at a time. What is like your favorite? What was your favorite scene? Did you have any favorite characters? Like any characters that you connected with, or what sort? Andre, you could go first.
Well, my favorite character is Estrella. I would have to say I saw some changes with her in this book because I also read Stuck Between and Strong Bonds. So I saw some changes with Estrella. Um, she has that beautiful spirit,
Mm-hmm.
but you saw strength more so in this book.
Mm-hmm.
You also saw her step out a little bit of her comfort zone,
Mm-hmm.
where you didn't see too much of her in the prior books, but this time she kind of stepped out. She even, got a little gangster a
Gangster.
couple times. So
I
I
wanted.
really, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed seeing that, expound on that character. So yeah.
Mhm. What about you, Mocha? Did you have a
My
favorite? Because
yeah.
you read the
The
prequel to
other
this one. You read Strong Bonds Never
yes.
Break. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to still ride with Sophia
Okay.
a little, but I do like Estrella as well because
Mm.
she got a little more aggressive,
Yeah.
like,
What?
you
What?
know.
Why do you like Sophia? Why is she your
I don't know.
favorite?
Sophia to me, even starting with the other book, the book prior to this one, she was loyal. She seemed to give off some loyal
She's
tendencies.
loyal to a fault.
And right. And with that being said, you don't find people nowadays that are loyal to anything.
Yeah.
So just to have this in a dialogue and this type of setting inside of the book, I thought it was really dope. So, and I and I'm loyal, so I kind of like
You
resonate with
connect. You
that
resonate with
character.
her. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do, and it's interesting. But I'll wait for you to ask me some more questions. I was gonna say something else, but I'll wait.
Yeah. That's Sophia is actually my favorite character as well. And the irony,
Yes.
the irony with that is because of the type of man I am, the
Uh huh.
lifestyle I live. You know what I mean? Which a lot of the fans know, and you two ladies know as well. Um, I'm dominant. You know what I mean? So like the way Sophia is, she's combative, she's
Yeah.
presumptuous, she's overzealous, she's a smart mouth. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that I would not tolerate, you know what I mean? Unless she's trying to transition, you know what I mean, and be more submissive. But a lot of the way she is, the way I've created her is completely what I would not like my ideal woman would not be. You know what I mean? But because of those major components, the fact that she's loyal, she has these morals, it kind of compensates for that. You know what I mean? Because I kind of feel like those behaviors they could be eradicated. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she could learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that's what I feel with that. When it's like the biggest that's the biggest component. Those two components like loyalty, the trust, the fact that she's overly protective,
Protective.
um,
Yeah.
you know, family members or whatnot. So that's always attractive to me. Yeah. So going to like the start of the script because what I created what fans don't know is this is a screenplay script. So the way I created it was it's dialogue, but it has like the slog line, which people don't may not know what slog line is. Slog line is like the setting. So like for example, INT, the acronym stands for interior. You know, they might be in the estate. So I might have said interior like INT dot Dom and Sophia's estate dash New York. You know what I mean? Just giving the setting. That's the slog line. And then the action is like what is actually going on. Like for example, like they were by the living room or something on the living room table, um, you know, plotting for a heist or something. And then I have like the character names, and underneath that is the dialogue. So the thing I want to ask you ladies is when the beginning of the book is straight action. You know what I mean? And I want to know
Guys,
like what do you ladies think about that? You Mocha, you could go first. I gotta like point.
Well, okay. Well, I thought it was great because this time you wasted no time. You went straight into the activity of what one can expect in regards to your book. The other thing that I loved about it when I was reading it and I saw how it was laid out, the blueprint of it, I loved the fact that it was like a screenplay. It reminded me of a script. So when you did give those acronyms and you gave those in parentheses, and
Settings.
the reader can actually visualize what the setting was, the places of where everyone was, and went straight into the storyline. But I love the fact that you just straight went into action boom, 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 no time to waste, because readers have to read the book prior to this one.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, you got a little more detailed. It was more like, okay, but this one, we went straight into it. Let's do
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
that kick.
yeah. What did you
Yeah.
think about it, Andrea?
I agree. The action, I mean, it kind of just grips you from the very beginning. And, you know, it keeps the reader's interest. So I think that's very important in any book, keeping the reader's interest. The action, you're like, okay, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And you were so detailed
Mm-hmm.
in that too. I like the fact that you made it in script form, because now the reader has to pay attention to every slight detail, where certain things might have escaped someone's attention. That doesn't happen here. So that action kind of draws you in from the beginning, and you're like, wait, what's going on? And I loved how you kind of just, you know, didn't cut any corners, if you will. So I really appreciated that. I think that was really, really good on your part.
Yeah, and I've gotten a lot from fans saying that this is easier to read because it's just like you said,
Yes.
it's right there. And then, like the way I created this was, I always vision myself in the future writing for film. You know what I mean?
Mm,
That's like a short term goal, and I created this on like a director's perspective. You know what I mean? And like when you when you read it, like Mocha was saying, I'm creating these images in your head. You know what I mean? So
yes.
now you're witnessing film. You know what I mean? Like that's the goal. So
Exactly.
I want to ask you something, Andre, because you own a publishing company.
Hmm.
Has any one of your authors have they written anything like this before? Something similar, script, screenplay?
No, no, we don't have any authors that's written anything like that as of yet. This is why it was so original.
Mm,
I haven't really seen anything like that where you've written it in screenplay form.
mhm,
Usually, when you write the screenplay, it goes straight to film,
mhm,
but to have it in book form,
mhm.
that hasn't been done before that I've seen. So I felt that was really original. It
Yeah.
was.
So I have a question for Mocha. Mocha, what do you think about Dom? And then I'm gonna ask you as well, Andre.
Dom. Oh, Dom is a character, boy. Dom, I've met Dom in your previous book, and he was something else. He's really, but he's smooth with it, though. You know, he, what I pick up from Dom, he loves submissiveness. That's what I grasp from his character.
Mhm.
And even though Sophia gives him that,
She fights him, like she gives him that
she fights
pushback.
him, that combativeness, that
Yeah.
pushback,
Uh-huh.
he still finds a way to still be dominant, regardless,
Mhm.
And with Dom, he stays true to who he is. He doesn't budge, he doesn't change, you know. So I love the way he moves. I like Dom,
Mhm.
but he could be something else. He's a character, though. He is really a
What about you, Andre?
character.
What do you think of Dominic?
I absolutely love Dom's character because he's so transformative. And what I mean by that is, you find out a little bit later on in the book that there's a lot more to Dom than you first let off in the first two books. So you're like,
Elaborate.
wait a second.
Elaborate on that.
Okay, okay. Um, when you read a little bit further on in the book, you find out that, first you're seeing that Dom is this smooth character. He always seems in control. He always seems to have everything, his composure is in place.
Mhm.
However, when you get further in the book, you see cracks in Dom's composure. You see that there's another side to him and he kind of lets loose,
Mhm.
and you're like, wait a second, you don't know what to expect from him at that point. I
Mhm.
love that because now you're getting a little bit more in depth into the character, and character buildup is so important. And you kind of delved into that with Dom, and I thought that was brilliant. I did.
Hmm. So, what do you what do you ladies think about um this triangle? It's not really like a triangle relationship or whatever, but it's a weird triangle. It's Lisa, Sophia, and Dominic.
Right.
And like I'll tell you my views on that after you ladies say your views. And first of all, Lisa and Dominic don't get along. And for the fans out there who are unaware, Lisa and Sophia are best friends. So that in a way that's like a puts in a predicament with that. So I want to know, what do you ladies feel about that? Because I Lisa and Dom and Sophia, excuse me, are married. And Lisa's the best friend who despises Dom. Do you believe, and I'm going to ask you each this, do you believe a woman who is like a party girl, she could be presumptuous? I mean, not presumptuous, she could be like promiscuous. Do you believe that she has business with a married woman as far as like friends and engaging in like all capacities? Mocha, you could go first.
Hmm. That's a great question. Do I believe a married woman
Should engage in or be
should
friends
be
with
friends with a single woman such
who's
as
part
Lisa?
who's a party animal? Perhaps she's promiscuous.
Yeah.
Um,
Um. See,
and she
it's
does. Sorry to cut you off.
oh, it's
And
okay.
she doesn't. She despises the husband.
Mm, that's really tricky because that could be, I think it's a conflict of interest to a certain
Hmm.
degree. And what I mean when I say that is that that's why they say married people should hang with married people and
Hmm.
singles stay with singles, because then it can cause a wedge in
Hmm.
between um, the marriage. But if they, this is the key though, they were friends before she got with Dom, or did they become friends when she was with Dom?
They were friends before Dom. Yeah, because they were all in
So in
high
that
school.
case, okay, so hold that right there. They met, right? That's what I remember in the previous thing,
Hmm.
right? So they were in high school and they were friends, and then Sophia got married. Okay,
Hmm.
yada yada yada. I don't see why that should change things. But because of Lisa's behaviors, I don't think she should expose certain behaviors um, in front of Sophia,
Hmm.
because I think it can have some sort of bearing on
Backlash.
Sophia.
Hmm.
Yeah, it can. And then Dom can look at Lisa, the friend, as you're taking my wife, but you're having her do things that's not appropriate for a woman that's married, that's in a full marriage. So that's where I think the conflict of interest comes in at. The
Yeah.
breakdown comes in at. And that's where you're gonna get that head butting
Okay.
sort of thing.
So you're saying they should remain friends, just maybe she should watch how she is, like watch what she says about her husband and
It's
stuff
true,
like.
yeah, because I have friends I grew up with. They became married, so I know when I go, and I'm single. So if I'm going out and I'm going on a date, I'm doing this. I'm, as we say, turning up or whatever. I know I wouldn't engage my married friends in that, because, and I'm not saying that their marriages are not strong,
Yeah.
or the woman is not, her partnership is not strong with her husband, but it can kind of be persuasive
Hmm.
being in that single environment.
I
It's
agree.
kind of tricky.
It
It's
is.
really tricky here. It's really tricky. But I don't think they should stop being friends, because she was friends before she married Dom.
Okay. What do you think, Andrea?
Well, I believe it can cause a conflict of interest and it could be a problem. There are many married people that are friends with single people, but in my experience, it always ends up being a problem when the single people want the married person to adapt to their environment. They want them to do a lot of things that they're doing. They don't understand that they have obligations, the married people.
Yeah.
It can be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is what happened later on in the book. It kind of really highlighted the fact that it became a problem. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to give too many details,
Yeah.
give that away,
And I
but
did that
that was
purposely.
I was very emotional. Okay, I'm gonna just say that right now. That was a very emotional part in the book for me
Mm-hmm.
personally because it really kind of highlighted the fact of consequences, to your actions and not listening, and how certain people just are not going to vibe with the other. So I think personally, yeah,
Yeah.
it could cause a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It could.
I believe that they can remain friends. So like I take Mocha's side where she said they could remain they may remain friends. However, she has to be conscious of that. She has to be conscious of like that's her husband. She's not leaving him. You mean because even though here's what I believe. Even though Sophia and Lisa met prior to Sophia meeting Dom and them getting married, once you become husband and wife, that's like your family.
Mhm.
And me, like I'm big on family. I'm big on family and loyalty. So it's like in a way, she may say Sophia, I'm sorry, Sophia may say Lisa is family, but she's not really family. You know what I mean? And it comes down to like your husband's gonna come first,
Right.
ultimately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your husband's gonna come first, your kids are gonna come first. That's your family. That's somebody that's like your life partner. So it's like they can remain friends if Lisa acts accordingly or Sophia's checking her. You know what I mean? Like certain things you can't do around my husband, certain things, because I believe that sometimes like it's gonna cause a wedge because let's say, for example, Dom and Sophia get into an argument and that's her best friend. She's gonna run to her. And most likely, she's not gonna give her positive advice. She's gonna say she might say stuff, oh, he was a dog, or this, that, you should do this. And now she's planting these seeds. You know what I mean? So energy is infectious. Now, Sophia might go home and she might indulge. She might oblige, you know what I mean, with the things that Lisa was saying. And now it's like, now Dom's getting Lisa's energy. And it's like, who is this woman that's in front of me being this way? That's another thing. So it is difficult, but it has to be a stamp where I feel that she has to check her. Like, yo, this is not cool. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have respect for my husband, even when he's not here, I feel. You know what I
Absolutely
mean?
right. I was watching something the other day, and it's called Married at First Sight.
Mm-hmm.
And I just ran into it. I was just like, okay, let me just see a few things about it. And what intrigued me was the experts that gives you advice on marriages. And it's
Mm-hmm.
true. Your husband is first. Your husband is first.
Yeah,
Everything else is secondary. So you're right. I think people need to be checked and people should respect other people's marriages.
yeah, yeah. What do you think about the whole like debacle that I created with the Russian mob, the cartel?
Oh God. Oh man. You starting some stuff.
Yeah,
You starting
Andrea.
some stuff.
Yeah. Andrea, you still with us? So what do you think?
Oh no, she's not there.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
maybe she'll come back. What did you
Yeah.
think about that?
Um wow. That involving those different ethnicities
Mhm,
and it caused more drama.
mhm,
So for me, it pulled me in like a fishing hook.
mhm.
It pulled me in more.
Yeah,
But just to see how it was written
yeah,
and to see how, without giving too much away,
yeah.
to see how it played out
Mhm,
was so exciting. You kept me intrigued. So
yeah,
I know that when people read this book,
yeah,
that they're going to be definitely intrigued. And I think it was dope. I think it
Yeah.
was the cherry on top of the cake.
I love
With
I
that.
I I loved creating. I loved being able to create Dulce. Um
Oh
Dulce
yes,
is
Dulce,
like,
yes.
yeah, Dulce is second in command in her father's illustrious ruthless cartel. And I'm big on empowering women. Um but not at the expense of emasculating men. I want to make that
Mm,
perfectly clear, because like I'm big on like women empowerment and women power and stuff, but I always believe that when you're with like a strong man, you should be submissive to him. And these are just this is how my ideology works. These are just solely my opinions. Um but a woman can be strong outside of her relationship, and in her relationship she could be different. This is what I believe. So when I create Dulce, she's this like ruthless, dominant alpha female,
yeah.
but the way she is with Dom is like, you know what I
Submissive.
mean?
She's
Well,
more, yeah.
she to an extent,
Uh,
to an
yeah, to
extent,
an extent. Right, you're right.
you know what I mean? To an
Yeah.
extent.
But you see more of a calmness to her when it comes to Dom. So I don't think I think the word submissive is maybe a little strong because she's still who she is.
Yes.
That you can tell with her character, she's aggressive, she stands her ground. But when it comes to Dom, she still kind of like gives in, like, or goes with the flow that he says
Yes.
because
Yeah.
of the respect that she has for him.
But I felt like she kind of did something with that encounter with
Yeah,
Sophia
she.
at the salon
Yeah, she's some. Yeah,
where
she.
she, you know what I mean? She kind of was threatening her a little bit, you know what I
Mm,
mean? And
was it like a passive aggressive? Would you say like a
definitely,
sort of dialogue,
definitely.
like a yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
And I wanted to display that because Dulce and Sophia, they may be, pardon me,
Mhm.
Dulce and Sophia are both dominant alpha females. However, that encounter, what I wanted to create was, I mean,
Mm.
they're similar with perhaps like personalities, but not similar, if that makes sense. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so they have like similar traits.
Similar traits, but they're not
Yeah,
similar.
but
For example, when she says, we're not in the same league, you mean because she's threatening to like punch her in the face or whatever. We're not in the same league. So that right there, I wanted to add because it's like, it's great for me to see how these two women are gonna like, it's like a first encounter without anybody else being around. Estrella being around, Dom, her father, whatever it is, it's just them two. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
yeah.
So what I created with this is I made sure like these characters, they don't lose sight of who they are. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And like
yeah.
you witness different things like predicaments or whatever, where you will see someone transition. You will see someone maybe like a Dominic lose his cool because
Hmm.
now he's in a
Yeah.
situation where he may no longer be in control. You know what I mean?
And
So I
he's used
love,
to being in control. He's used to being
yeah,
in control.
yeah,
So imagine that. So when it's always in control, now
mhm,
you're not in control. What do?
yeah,
You lose it.
yeah, you
Because you
lose
don't
it.
know what's going on. You're trying to get that control back.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I love this. I think this was like one of my greatest books I've written ever. Well,
I
not
agree.
ever, because I'm still like back and forth with if I'm gonna continue writing books. You know what I mean? The vision is film writing, but I may not be opposed to writing another book. Maybe if it's like a book deal or something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But right now, like I'm focused on the podcasting, I'm focused on this, that, and then it's like I'm envisioning like film, in the future.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, from this book, the way the blueprint is, I definitely get film vibes from this. This would be so easy if someone wanted to take your story here which is there's still unfinished business
Hmm.
with this. I think it would be so easy. They wouldn't even have to write anything out. They can just take it straight from your book, the
Hmm.
same way the layout is, and just roll with it. All they would
Yeah.
have to do is the audition process.
Maybe tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, tweak it a little bit, just a little bit, but it's kind of like fine tune it a little bit, but it's drivable.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
really good. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So,
Great job.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations to you on your success. You're so inspiring, whether you know it or not. This is definitely inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
but this is number what? And it's number seven.
7. Yes.
Number seven. There
Yes.
it is.
All right. So I just want to thank you for coming on and you know what I mean,
Oh,
going
thanks for
over this.
having me.
I also want to
Yes.
thank you for being a model on the cover.
Oh yes, and thank you so
Yes.
much. I love the photography. And shout out to the photographer. She's so sweet.
Yeah. Shout out
Yes,
to
thank you.
Alicia.
And yeah, Alicia, thank you so much. And
Hmm.
EL Discipline, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me in your space to be able to bring your visual to light in regards to the photography, in regards to the photo shoot and everything. It was just such a great,
Thank you. Thank you for
great,
being a
great,
part
great,
of it.
great time.
Thank you
Thank
for being a
you.
part of it. All
Yeah.
right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't purchased There's Still Unfinished Business, like I stated
Yes.
earlier, go get it. Don't be the only one that doesn't have the book. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let's try this again.
All right. So, what I was asking Mocha is, what does she think about the Russian, the Colombian cartel? Like, what did you think about that? You know what I mean? Because it's like you read all 3 books, so you already know I'm constantly putting these characters in a bind. Like
Yes.
I'm not making it easy for them.
Yes, yes. And you definitely didn't make it easy this time. I think you kind of, went to the next level with this. It was intense. That's a definite word that I could give it. It was intense. Um, I was interested to see like what was going to happen next. As far as Dom, lives were at stake. And things got a little bit more risky this time too. It seemed like he wasn't able to get out, as smoothly as he was in the first 2 books. So yeah, that was pretty intense.
So like the character Dulce, what do you think about her?
Do say.
Because there was a great encounter for the first time. I kind of put Dulce and Sophia face to face. Dom wasn't around, Estrella, her father, and it's like, remember that what was it? It was like the salon scene.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I felt that you definitely felt the tension between these two. You had 2 different backgrounds here, and you elaborated that really well. Um, the first time they kind of confronted each other, it was like, okay, all right, what's about to happen? You're thinking they're probably going to start, throwing hands or something.
Yeah.
But she was very poised yet dangerous. And you had Sophia, who was gangsta, and she was like, what? So I thought that was really good. I thought that was really good how you put those 2 together and you saw, the differences and similarities. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because to me, these 2 women have strong personalities. Like they're dominant in their day-to-day life.
Hmm.
And it's like, in a way, they're both kind of submissive to dominant to an extent.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not like Estrella is, but they're both, they yield to him to a degree.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for them to both, now are face to face, and it's like, I wanted to like kind of scare the audience.
Yeah,
They try to
you
kind
did
of
a
be
good
like,
job.
they're trying to be like, yo, what's gonna happen right now? Like this
Mhm.
woman is a lieutenant in the cartel, and we all know how hothead Sophia is.
Yes.
You know what I mean, from the other books. So it's like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna go down? You know. So I thought that was very I thought it was very interesting to create that scene, and I kind of just put my mind in these alpha females' minds and
Mhm.
just would just think like, how would these women really interact with each other if it
That
was
was
what it
amazing.
was? You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like it's not an easy task for
Mhm.
like a male to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
like I felt like I did a really great job with that.
You did an excellent job because no, that is not easy. And it's amazing how you portrayed the female characters so well. I was really into it and I really wanted to see the scene between Deuce and Sophia, but there was also a scene between her and Estrella as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, but what really got me was the first time you introduced her
Hmm.
in this book, she kind of separated Dom from Sophia and Estrella.
Yes.
He separated them, and it's like, okay, automatically you knew, all right, I'm the alpha female here. I'm
Yes.
about to have him to myself. So I was like, okay, that was really interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
And I look at it like with these females all kind of just if you notice Dom is like the center.
Hmm.
Like and this brings me to my next question. Without giving too much away, what do you think about Alexis?
Without giving
Cause
too much away.
cause all these women are different personalities, different
Hmm.
races.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't just all make them all like black or African American or Latina. You know what I mean? Like they're all different personalities, different races. So
Yes.
to me, it's like, what do you think about Alexis? That's my question.
Well, very unpredictable. Very unpredictable because I thought, I'm going to just put it this way, I thought I had Alexis' character down pat. And then there are different things that happen that make you like, okay, wow. So yeah, all I can
I
say about Alexis.
I like doing that. I like doing that to the fans
And you did it good.
because fans will think they got it. Like I got it.
Yeah.
I figured it out. And then what? Something new comes and it's like it's
Yeah,
almost
that unpredictable.
it's almost like punching them in the mouth. You know what I mean?
Yes, you did that because I was very surprised. Alexis, she's very strong, very assertive. She definitely had an interest in Dom. So I'm like, but it didn't look like Dom really had much of an interest in her, in my opinion. I'm like, okay. But then again, you see the different things that's going on, and it's like Alexis.
Yeah.
So,
My thing is I created all these women to be strong and independent and you know what I mean, have prominent roles and jobs in like society.
mhm,
And but you see the difference when it's like they're in a relationship or they're with their like Dom for say because he's pretty much like the main male character. Like there's other male characters in there, but we don't we don't see a view of everyone else, like an overview of everyone else,
that's true.
but Dom. Like the eagle eye is on Dom,
Right.
constantly. So it's like all these women who are strong gravitate towards him, and it's almost like he got them wrapped around his finger, in a way. You know what I mean? To an
Yes.
extent, and I love creating that because, like, my mind, the way my ideology is I believe women can be strong, but submissive in the household. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, this is what I believe. And I believe women can be more than one thing, versus men being more than one thing in like that specific circumstance.
Right.
You know what I mean? As far as being submissive and being dominant and whatever. Because women to me, I believe like women is the only gender in the world who could be physically transformative. They could wear heels, they could wear sneakers, they could wear dresses, they could wear jeans, they could wear um nurses outfits, whatever, paint their nails, wigs, whatever it is, makeup, and still be viewed as women. But if men do that,
You
they're
have a
not
point
men. They're
there.
no longer men. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. That's true. You have a point there. And you
I'm
did
not
that
saying
well.
I'm not saying it's I would want that. You know what I mean? I hate seeing men dressed like women. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to prove a point. Like, women could kind of be what they want to be and still be viewed as women, even if they're wearing a business suit.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, like,
That's true.
that's what I created with these women, where it's like you could have the police officer, you could have the attorney, you could have the entrepreneur, the CEO. You know what I mean? The submissive, and they're all these things.
Hmm. You're absolutely right. And you did that so well. You could see the different layers in each of the ladies. You know, um, Even in my favorite character, Estrella,
Mm.
you see her strength, but you see that beauty in the submission to Dom. You see their love, but then you see the relationship between him and Sophia as well.
That's
There's
what I
still
was.
love.
That's what I was about to ask you, because even though your favorite character is Estrella, how do you feel about Sophia? How does she make you feel?
Sophia is so in your face. She's very aggressive. She's tough. She's like this warrior queen.
Yeah,
So you respect her and you love her strength. But then there's times where it's like she's so hot-headed, she's not listening. She's too emotional and she's kind of just going forward. And as you find out later in the book, there's consequences
hmm
to that.
I bel
And things get really emotional because of that. So even though I still love Sophia because I love seeing her strength, her drive, it's like she don't care, you know, but she doesn't listen,
I
you
feel
know.
I feel that if like that's her Achilles heel, her emotions. I feel that if she controlled her emotions and she was a little bit more cerebral, she'd be better than Dom.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because
wow.
she is my favorite character. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I gave her many more layers than Dom in a way. You know what I mean? But kind of put her in like a female version. Whereas the exception is her emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's like she could be cerebral if she wanted to. And it's like she's constantly underestimated because she is intelligent, even though she is hood.
That's
You
true.
know what I mean? Even though she is aggressive, she can be intelligent, but it's that it's that level of calmness that she fights. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Yeah, she has this shield that protects her emotions, at times. And I noticed that. It's
Mm,
like you don't really get to see it too often, but there are times where it's like, oh, wow. And she's like, never mind, you didn't see anything. It's like she quickly covers it up, but it's there.
mhm,
It's there. And it's beautiful how Estrella is kind of like the peace between her and Dom, and kind of brings them together.
mhm.
It's beautiful how they all three work together,
It's
and you
like
kind of just,
it's almost, sorry to cut you off.
hmm?
It's almost like strange bedfellows in a way.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I did it that way. I did it that way because it's like normally, like, if people don't know what like strange bedfellows, it's kind of like an unlikely alliance. It could be temporary for like accomplishing one goal.
Mhm.
or you put them in the same predicament like I did, and now they have to team up too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So I feel that with Sophia, it's like she, with her, you gotta roll with the punches. It's almost like she's just so combative, but competitive also. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
remember when they went to that house and she's like, "Oh, I'm a better shooter than you."
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And the race with the Ferraris. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's she's constantly like challenging and whatnot. But I created her to be like the ultimate alpha female.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And Dom
Right.
the ultimate alpha male, where they're bumping heads, but like when it comes down to business, they're like on the same page.
Right. Their team.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
like
see them working that way.
yeah, because you could trust there's people who trust people in all ways, and there's people who trust people in some ways. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like Sophia may not trust Dom to oh, check Dulce or whatever, right? Check her. But if it comes down to like protecting the family or whatever it is, she may trust him in that. Where she may
Yes.
not trust him in the loving husband, you know what I mean,
That's
anymore,
true.
but she trusts him in different circumstances. And and I'm sure like the way I created it, he feels the same way with her. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And it's like the way I did this, right? It's like two lions. Two lions, one lion can be killed or have like severe injuries from like 10 hyenas
Mm.
or 15 hyenas. But two dominant lions is too much for 15 hyenas. They may not
Right.
kill all of them, but it's too much. And that's the power that I created with the two of them. You know what I mean? It is like there's a scene in there where she's like, we're going against cartel, Russians, blah blah blah. And he's like, or I think she said it, well, they don't know who they're messing with. Like they're the ones that should be afraid because they don't know who they're messing with.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. She was very fearless in this, but Dom always remains the level-headed one, at least most of
Yeah.
the time.
And you have to have that balance. Cause it's like what if there was two hotheads? You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
it wouldn't work.
yeah. Cause then they would
It
both be
wouldn't work.
making mistakes all day long.
Exactly. Exactly.
But when
And
you
you mention it several times in the book. Sophia acknowledges that Dom is kind of like her balance. And that's one of the things she loves about him so much.
mm,
He can handle her. He
mm-hmm,
knows how to handle her, and she knows not just anybody can.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So that's what makes their dynamic so wonderful
yeah,
to watch and see it. It's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
so
mm-hmm,
I
yeah,
love that.
definitely.
I love that.
Definitely. Things get heated as um things get involved and this what comes out to like the synopsis in the back where I have it says let me just read a little bit of this. I'm back with another thriller. There's still unfinished business. The trilogy in the Stuck Between Two Different Worlds book series. This is an intense, mysterious, suspenseful, jaw-dropping page turner of a masterpiece. However, before diving into this book, you must be aware of some things. First, you can't play with the devil and expect things to never get hot. If you sell your soul to the devil, he will always come back to collect. Second, the game is rigged, but you can't lose if you don't play. When you're in a lose lose situation, the wrong move will have you paying the price. The right move doesn't always mean the right decision. When principles are involved, the consequences now come with massive interest. These repercussions will leave you with unfinished business. And last but not least, there's a new game, but the rules haven't changed. When the tables turn, sometimes you must play the only chips you have. Cash those chips in at the right time, but the wrong place, it no longer becomes business. Things become all the way personal. So,
Yeah.
with the synopsis, it kind of gives you a little intake of what or insight of what the book is going to be about. And everything in that I read is in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
right place, the right place at the wrong time, the things becoming personal. You understand? Because it's like one thing I loved was making a man who's always in control not have control. Okay, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So what I do on my show is I always have like final thoughts. And what are your final thoughts pertaining to this book, this story, this screenplay, slash script?
Final thoughts. Okay. Well, my final thoughts are this book is very, very climactic. It's different. The fact that it's written in script form is, it's very intriguing, and that right there is going to attract a lot of readers. I feel that when individuals read this book, it's really going to break down the whole catalyst of the Stuck Between Two Different World series.
Mm,
This kind of really breaks it all down for you. You do have to read the first two books because you're really going to be lost.
lost.
So I feel that this book, you really explained a lot of different things about the characters. You got a lot more in depth
Yeah.
as far as history and background. And you really kind of gave an eye opener to the emotions that everyone was feeling. And you just laid it all out for individuals. So I think that people who read this book, they're really going to get an eye opening experience as to
Mm,
the series as a whole. And it really, really kind of, it's going to just really blow your mind.
yeah.
That's my final
Those
thoughts.
are good final thoughts. Well, my final thoughts are simple. I'm the best author in the world. That's one of my final thoughts. Secondly is I created this as to be used in like everyday life as far as the mentality of for every action there's a reaction. You know what I mean? And this goes back to, like you said, them having to go back to read the first book in the series because if something doesn't happen, we don't get to this point. You know what I mean? And it could have been stopped. You understand? So consequences are a thing. You know what I mean? And like, you know, we this has to be like a perpetual mindset for people. And when they read this book, they will realize that it is right. You know what I mean? Like it's like the law of attraction. It's the law of the land. It's the law of the universe. Where it's like karma. Some people believe in karma. That's what that is.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's like the type of energy you put out there is the type of energy you're gonna receive. You may be able to dock and dodge it for like, a little bit of time, but maybe your kids will get it. You know, maybe something, a family member, whatever it may not be you, but it's gonna affect you some way. You know what I mean? So for every action, there's a reaction. You know what I mean? And those are my final thoughts. So
Excellent.
I just want to thank you for being the guest on the Discipline
It's a
Therapy
pleasure.
podcast. We went through the book, we dissected everything. I just want to thank you for coming here and everything. That is it's good to see you flourish and where you're going with your business and everything like that. And keep pushing.
Thank
You
you.
know what I mean?
Thank you so
So,
much.
ladies and gentlemen, you were tuned in to the Discipline Therapy podcast. If you haven't gotten one, get it. You're gonna be the only one left out. Peace.